Okay, well, this is pretty random time. Okay, it's the weekend. It's Saturday 10th of February, and this is the last weekend that the team has free before the boats start arriving next week. So me and my extreme generosity to the other girls in the team here in Punta gave them all the day off. In fact, probably 2 days, today and tomorrow. So they promptly hired a car, and Georgie, Jack, and Jane have buggered off in the car. So I rock up here at 9 o'clock to do the tracker. I'm the only one standing watch, by the way. We've got 6 mobile phones, like emergency 1, emergency 2, hotline 1, hotline 2. But there's no scheduled phone calls today, so that's okay. And if there's an emergency, I can always call them. But anyway, I've got all the phones here and stuff. So they buggered off, and then I came in here at 9 o'clock on schedule, ready to do the tracker. And on this Be Live system, it's always just set up and it just goes, it just happens. But this time, for some reason, it required me to log in again to YouTube and log into Facebook and then get the access code for the program. And of course, Jane's got all that. And I tried and fumbled, but after about an hour, I gave up completely. Anyway, I got onto Jane, and then finally I managed to crack it about half an hour ago, set up. And then I thought I would leave it until 5 o'clock. And then I thought, hang on, everyone will be out watching Saturday night at the movies and stuff. And then because at 9 o'clock we get the position upgrade, work out exactly where they are. So, and then I thought, no, bugger it, I'm just going to do it now. So the positions we'll be looking at on the tracker will be, generally speaking, will be about 3 hours old. So there's a new position coming up in an hour. But I thought, what the heck? People wonder where it is, and those that missed the 9 o'clock retake, the 5 o'clock local time Punta, which is about 8 or 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock in England, 9 o'clock in Europe, and so on. They will just have to cop the replay. So that's my story for the day. I have my own crisis management plan, chocolate, when I'm trying to get all the bloody passwords, and I just gave up. Actually, chocolate's the only thing. Everything's pretty cool here. Oh, it's raining today. It's raining, it's cold, it's windy. So complete contrast for Punta del Este here in Uruguay. Usually it's nice and sunny every day. It was really cool this morning. I earlier went for a walk and it was foggy and overcast, but not much wind, just not overcast, just foggy and misty and stuff anyway. But usually it's sunny days, so beach days are out for the moment. And chocolate is super expensive. It's twice the price. I paid €10 for that. And it's only Milka, it's not Lindt. Normally I go for Lindt, but that's like €20 for just a block of chocolate, Chocolate's the only thing that's super expensive. There's some things that are specially imported, of course. And anyway, I digress. So the news translated got onto us this morning. They're safely in William Harbour, set up. We've got Paul down there helping them and working out a plan. I haven't heard exactly what the plan is yet, but yesterday it was either one of two things. Make the repairs on site in the Falklands and then sail to Punta del Este, or possibly lift the yacht onto a ship. They have a regular big cargo ship that comes in, and I'm not sure what the scheduling is. Maybe it's coming this week. They could think about putting it on the ship, sailing it to Montevideo, doing the repairs there, and it's only it's not that far. It's 2 hours driving the car. From Montevideo to Punta, and then be ready to start. And the rule says that you must arrive here across the finish line at least 4 hours before the restart on March the 5th. We put that in there for lots of different reasons, but it's all subjective and it's not mandatory. We can review that. So the reality is, generally speaking, in this sort of situation, as long as they could get away. In the race proper on the last leg, there's no finishing time, as in it's open. Even if you took 3 months to finish the last leg of the race, you're still recorded in that situation. So in the instance of translated, if they were to arrive within a week or so of the restart, obviously would still give them permission to remain in the event, and in fact it could even be longer than that. So their objective is to be here before the restart so they can race competitively in leg 4. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but absolutely now they're out of the rankings for leg 3, so they Leg 3 does not exist for translated 9 any longer. And so they will get rankings for leg 1, 2, and 4 if they can complete leg 4. We really hope they can. It's a cumulative race as well. So in other words, your total finish times are what determines who's the winner on IRC and who is the winner overall for each leg. And then the timeline will be the line honours overall for each leg. So when you get knocked out of one leg, you're sort of out of the race overall. But nonetheless, you still get rankings and so on for those 3 legs that translated would be in. Now that's happened to Sterner, got knocked out of leg 2. It happened to Explorer, got knocked out of leg 2, and that's it. So Neptune stopped, but they kept everything to their own resources when they did their repairs to their rudder before they left. So we'll wait and see. I'm sure there'll be some good stories coming from translated on the way through. This morning we had Outlaw and Evrika get around Cape Horn, which was kind of cool. And we got some more pictures in. You've probably seen them. We got a full picture file now that I just put up. Rob just finished it. Rob's in London getting ready to jump a plane to come down here to Punta. And he just finished that compilation. I just put it up. So that's kind of fun. And what else can I tell you? That's really about it. So we'll get straight into the tracker and see what's been happening here. Here we go. We've got the tracker there, and I'm here. So this has pretty much got everyone except for Penduic. Penduic's up here somewhere off the screen. But anyway, everyone's around now except for Sterner here, an Explorer just coming onto the screen. And if we go back one, you'll see there's Penduic just bumped into some headwinds now. So that's going to slow them up a bit, but I still think we'll probably see them on the 14th. We'll wait and see. Anyway, all very good. These guys here in the midfleet have got some headwinds. Evrika's struggling to get through the gap there at Stretcho de la Mer. And Sterner's been doing okay. Still sailing faster than Explorer. So we'll look at those two first and see what's going. The weather's very good for Explorer, 7.8 knots, but there's a bit of a blow coming, and it looks like Explorer may meet up with that blow at Cape Horn. So I'll show you that in a minute when we do the main weather. 175 mile day, sailing 7.8 knots, and Sterner is sailing 8 knots and did 197 mile day, so continues to pull away. All's well there for both of them. It looks as if, and we'll just do the weather here for these two. It looks as if Sterner's going to drive into some heavy weather, but unbelievably, that person or item or thing, that superior being, which could be the forces of nature, because we never talk about politics and religion, but someone is looking after them, because as we progress this forward, you'll see here what happens. The heavier weather moves away, and Sterner's got quite a nice ride for the next 24 hours, 36 hours, heading down towards Cape Horn. Now, the distance for Sterner to Cape Horn is approximately 425 miles, 26 miles. So from right now, that's a good 2.5 days, I would say. So 2.5 days. And for Explorer, Explorer is up to 700 miles. So that's a good 4 days. That's a good 4 days, maybe even a bit more. So it's the 10th. So that's around the 14th. So 14, 15, Explorer will be going around. And what did I say for Explorer? A couple of days. So probably 2.5 days, 3 days. So half 11, 12. So somewhere early on the 13th, she might be going around. Okay, so let's look at the weather on that. So we've got 13th and 14th. Hit this, hit that again. So the next day, there goes the 11th. Nice sailing for both of them. And then we're coming into the 12th. You can see the heavy weather starting to come through. This is to the end of the 12th. And by then, Explorer will be down about here just experiencing it. And by then, Sterner may well be just about to go around. She'll be down here a little bit. So it's going to give them a bit of a push. But I think Sterner is going to do okay, because you can see there, even though the push was on, this is on the 13th now, and Sterner might just cop the edge of this and then they'll break through to the other side. So Stern will be ready. We'll give them a weather forecast. I haven't looked at this on windy, but just looking at the colours here, that's probably going to be 35 gusting 50 with probably 6-7 metre seas in here. Now, just coming back a bit, did that go over Explorer? Just going to roll that through again, just thinking Explorer. Yes, it's going to go over the top of them, developing, so they will be riding this one through. It'll push them down a little bit, quite solid, and it'll go for about 20 hours. But then they'll come on the other side of that. They'll be on the other side of the stream once it goes over the top of them. So that shouldn't be too bad. And then this goes through then to the 14th, and they've got a pretty easy ride through. So they're going to get some weather go over the top, but nothing they can't manage. It's not an intense low pressure system where you have sudden changes of wind direction and sea state. It's coming from the northwest, which stops the sea from building heavily. So the most they're likely to see is 7, 8, and maybe 9 metre seas. There will usually be this cross sea from the southwest as well, but that's manageable. It's not the potential 15 metres, 18 metre seas and so on. So it's quite within their ability to handle that heavier weather coming through. So that's enough for Sterner and Explorer. Come back to today's weather. I need to push this up a bit. I just realised to give us a bigger screen. It's fascinating for me. This whole group here, from Maiden down to Evrika, is only right to Evrika is about 450 miles apart. So after transiting the whole of the Pacific Southern Ocean, the fleet's still reasonably well grouped, and in terms of boat choice and sizes for the race, I mean, you've got Spirit of Helsinki with a Swan 651, one of the biggest and most powerful boats in the fleet, and yet right behind you've got a Swan 53, only 150 miles, 200 miles behind or something. So it bodes well for the future of racing around the world in these style of boats. You can have a 53-footer and a 651, 65-footer, and they're all really able to match it together and stay together as a fleet and have some competitive racing on IRC, and it's all starting to level out, which is also very interesting. So because we're going north-south now, I'm going to have to put it up here a bit so we can look at Evrika. Evrika went round in daylight, and Outlaw also went round in daylight around Cape Horn, which is pretty good. They'd be happy with that. So I don't know whether anyone slowed down there on that one, but because at one stage Outlaw was thinking it was going to be night time, but they managed to just crack it and get some great photos. So I haven't checked this, and no one's watching to see if we're actually. I'm going to have a quick peek here to make sure I'm not wasting my breath. Yep, it must be transmitting because no one's complaining, so the settings were right. So now I'll come back to the tracker. So Evrika managed 7.8 knots and a 278 mile day, so that's pretty impressive. They were sailing quite close. I did the official numbers. I haven't got them here now for when they went around Cape Horn. They were about 3 miles off, I think it was. And Outlaw was really close, 1.5 miles when they went past, and got some good photos as well. So doing quite well, but now they've got these contrary breezes. They're getting squashed in, but they're going to have to come out and go through the gap here and underway. Outlaw is just coming out the other side, 6.6 knots. That could be affected by currents, but there is absolutely a light headwind here as well, and they've managed 271 mile day. So then White Shadow, 7 knots, 233 mile day. I think the current might be helping them a bit with all these numbers. And then Galliana was secure, which is still holding the lead. Going into Cape Horn, you may remember that White Shadow was ahead of Galliana, but they got mixed up with that landfall, which was the wrong side of the island, and lost ground. It allowed Galliana to sneak through, and Galliana's now managing to hold that lead, doing 6.1 knots in the light headwinds, 248 mile day. The Esprit de Keep, 5.7 knots in the light headwinds and 126 nautical mile day. They will be noticing an appreciable difference in the temperature. Down around Cape Horn, when Evrika went through, it was 8 degrees C. And now not only does the sea die out and you lose that Southern Ocean swell, in these conditions here, it can get very warm very quickly. The first thing that you do is open everything up, get all your gear off, get some sun on your skin again, because they've been so long in the Southern Ocean. So their world is changing dramatically. The contrast will be huge. So anyway, coming through now, Triana managed to hold the breeze pretty well. They've squeaked on the other side, but it's headwinds now, 183 nautical mile a day, and 7 knots. So they'll be performing well on IRC now, because here's translated over here at Stanley or Port Williams. So we can see where they are. In fact, I might zoom in and see whether they actually went into Port Stanley or whether they're in Port Williams. We've got some really good help there. The locals are rallying around. The officials have been really generous with the way everything's been handled. So I think the Falklands is used to seeing boats that have issues call in. Yeah, okay, so they've gone into Port Stanley. Let's have a look. I'll take you down to have a look at the wharf where they are. There's a big military base here, of course, since the war back in 1989 or something. When the war was on, I was actually working on the BOC boats with Philippe Juntot and all the boys. There's a few funny stories there. But anyway, so now there's quite a strong presence there. They've upgraded a lot of things. That's the airstrip over there. And they're actually on the main. Just trying to get to the oil. There we go. On the main wharf there. We'll go right in and have a look. So we'll find out pretty quickly whether they're going to fix it or ship it. We're not sure yet. There's only one composite guy there, and there's no way of getting extra material in for a week. The flight was today from San Diego to the Falklands, and so now the next flight's not until next Saturday, either in or out. There's a ship there. They seem to be. I wonder if that's the cargo ship. I'm not sure. Anyway, so they're on the wharf, the main jetty there, and we'll wish them well. And you can Port Williams over the other side here, but they've come in safely and done well. They might have been over here by the look of it to do something first thing in the morning with cocoa. I'm not sure. Anyway, all cool. I'll come back to the main game. Just thought you might be interested in that. So here we go. So we got to Triana, and I'll come back with the weather as well. Back on track. And it's cleared out. I can't get it all on the one screen now. Okay, 7.5 knots for Neptune, 195 nautical mile a day. I absolutely love their Cape Horn picture. It's just perfect, full of joy and happiness and all that sort of stuff, but a beautiful silhouetted Cape Horn behind it in the sun and all that sort of thing. I think that's my second most favorite photo. The favorite photo from me is one that Tapio set up. This is how cool Tapio is. He understands the importance of some things with sponsors and this, that, and the other, because he's in the game. He has a lot of sponsors. I should put this picture up. But you'll see there's a picture there with the McIntyre Adventure flag flying, Cape Horn in the background, and they've launched the drone and flown the drone up in between the masts to get it behind the picture of the McIntyre Adventure flag, so that we've got the boat, the McIntyre Adventure flag, the Southern Ocean, and Cape Horn. It's quite cool. So we were very impressed with that. But the second most important picture is the Neptune shot. It's fantastic. It's really cool. So that's cool. We should have done a photo competition, I suppose, and got all the followers to vote on it. So Maiden, 7.7 knots, 169 mile a day. They're pretty much hard on the wind now, trying to balance the issue of which course they take, not slowing down, and the sea will be quite lumpy there. Probably 2 meter short, steep chop. So still doing okay. 169 mile a day. Spirit of Helsinki, pretty much doing the same thing. 8.7 knots though. They've got a bit better to windward. In fact, it shows. I mean, Maiden's not designed as a windward boat. It's designed as a downwind flyer for line honours, whereas Spirit of Helsinki is a German Freres design, which is, typical of the era. Really nice sections. Real fine bow, all that sort of stuff, and got a bit of displacement to push through. So much better windward boat, and that might be where you're seeing the difference there. 8.7, 214 mile a day. Maiden 7.7, 169 mile day. So we would expect Spirit of Helsinki to perform better going to windward. And Penduic, way up the top here, doing 6.8 knots, hard on the breeze, and 146 mile day. It's been light for them, and they've tacked across now, so the wind's swinging. I'm going to cut it back a bit so we can get a perspective on what's happening here. They make, oh, jeepers, they're getting close. Okay, so the 10th. They're not very far away at all. They've actually done really well. Let's just see. So you can see there's the fleet coming through. Penduic's got a big jump on the rest of the fleet now that they're starting to get in a straight line, so about 270 miles. It's a good solid day and a bit for Maiden and Spirit of Helsinki. And then to get to Punta, it's not far away at all. Jeepers. So say 600 miles. So 600 miles, that's easily 3 days. Jeepers. That's only 200 miles for a bit less than that. So it's 560. So we're on the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. That could be the 13th. But there's some solid headwinds. It'll depend on what the weather's doing. And now we're talking about it. I'm going to just forget the rest of the fleet because I'm fascinated. I've been telling everyone here I'd expect to see them early on the 14th. Might have to review that this afternoon and see what happens subject to the weather. So let's just have a look here at what's going to happen to the weather in the next couple of days. So it's the 10th, 1900. So that's going to be a bit demanding. Oh, then it's straight away sailing. And that's fast now. So that's only in half a day. In half a day, they're actually going to rip up the back of that low, but then there's going to be no wind. So you see what would have happened then. As soon as they got on the other side of the low, it's favourable wind, so they would have pushed up here, and then they'd be sitting in no wind. So, but that's not going to last for long. And then we've got light headwinds again. So on the 12th, so for the 10th to the 11th, they're going to be up here somewhere. On the 12th, they've got light headwinds. That's going to slow them down a bit. And then, oh, jeepers, end of the 12th, kick up the bum. Jeepers. They're going to fly in. So that's 12th. Okay, 10th, 11th, 12th. They will absolutely arrive on the 13th. Yeah. Probably about midday on the 13th. Ooh, better get everything ready now. Jeepers. So, yeah, I think we'll see them here early on the middle of 13th or something. I'm not sure whether that's pretty quick. So, what's going to happen to the rest of the fleet? Let's just have a look now that we know their ETA. Coming on down here, we'll see what the luck of the draw is for the rest of the fleet coming up. So light headwinds. So there's the 11th. Some stronger headwinds. That'll frustrate a few people. Some solid headwinds, and then that southerly, southwesterly is going to come through on the 12th. So that's just 1 day, 2 days, and then they're going to get a big kick as well. So that's going to go through. That'll keep them riding north. It may be a weather alert there. There's quite a bit of wind. Quite a bit of wind on the 13th. 13th, and then they've got, let's see what's going to happen here. 13, 14, there's going to be a calm, and then there's going to be some more headwinds. So a bit of frustrating. 14, 15. So it's not going to be anywhere near as efficient as what Penduic has had, and that's going to give her a big jump in the IRC rating. I would say she's going to pick up at least half a day on the issue of IRC rating, because she's going to go in pretty efficiently, but the others are going to get a little kick, and then they're going to get these headwinds again, and that's going to be a disadvantage for them. So Penduic has a chance to increase her performance or position on IRC, which is very interesting. So 15. So I think you'll see Penduic arrive late, sometime midday 13, maybe somewhere on the 13 anyway. And 14, 15. It'll be a couple of days at least before you see the others turn up, and that's good news for Penduic, but not so good for Triana and so on. She's going to have a harder time. So on that, I think we've covered most of the ground. Let's have a look at what the differences are now. Line honours is they're all in line, at Penduic, Maiden, Spirit of Helsinki, Neptune translated. That's pretty straightforward. You can count that off the picture. But IRC It's going to be a different picture. So first thing to consider is move the screen up so we can see a few more of them. And the first one is that Translated is out of the picture. She'll be fading away now down here. So Triana is currently leading on IRC with 35 days and 3 hours. I'm going to go straight to Penduic now. So she's 35 days and 3 hours. Penduic is 36 days and 22 hours. Okay. So I think what is she going to take out a day? Oh, it's going to go close. I think Penduic has a chance of possibly taking out as much as a day, but I think it'd be more like 22 hours, 20 odd hours. It'll be less than a day, but I think you'll see the gap there. So if that was the case, that still means that Triana is going to, so that would put him in at about 35, about say 35.20. 35.20 is not going to, is going to probably put her in second. But she won't get past Triana. So I think it's looking very likely, all things considered, that Triana will probably hold first position in IRC, and you may well see Penduic come through and take second place, because you'll see these numbers change. They're going to lag a bit behind. But as it stands now, Galliana with Secure is coming second, and she's 35, 36. So that's a day and 12 hours, so 1.5 days behind Triana. Neptune is only 5 hours behind Galliana with Secure. And then Penduic, we've discussed that. And Translated, forget it. And then we come into Maiden, which is 37. She's going to have a hard time because it's not a windward boat. So I think you'll see her lag behind even White Shadow. It's a bit hard to say, but let's wait and see what happens. But anyway, there's some interest there for sure. I think you'll see Penduic jump up the rankings there, and may very well come in on second. And barring anything happening, and it's never over till the fat lady sings, Triana could take line on us on this one, which will make them very, very happy, I'm sure, because they're actually sailing hard, and they were super excited to get around Cape Horn, and they're really enjoying the experience and following the dream that they all had, never thought they'd get to experience, which is fun for us as organisers. So that's about it for that one. I'll come back here and see how many people popped up in this unscheduled occasion to talk about things. So yes, there's a few people there. So g'day Garrett. Dirty, yeah. I got to say, that love Milka. Australia is no, Milka's okay, but the number one, hands down, is Lint. Lint is my number one, even though I should be saying Cadbury's because that's Australian. But anyway, hey Nigel, g'day Stefan. Thanks for everything you've been doing. Stefan's our satellite guru with Starlink and so on. So he's been a great help, and also Explorer electrician that saved the day. He came and worked for us at like 2 days' notice for 10 days to get Explorer out of Les Sables d'Olonne. And it was a job well done. She's still going, touch wood. Touch wood, everything's good. The big thing about Explorer, might be last, but geez, they're having a good time. I can see they're not unhappy at all. Question, are the boats allowed on refits to change original structural parts, for example, on the hull, rudder, skegs, and so on? They can rebuild anything they want, but they can't change the shape. So they can't change the rudder skeg, but they can rebuild it stronger or do whatever they want. They can't change the rudder shape. It's got to be original to original plan. So they're not allowed to change any shapes, but they can rebuild and strengthen the issues there. So that's the story. And they can't change some things have been changed on some of the boats, but they were changed prior to the boat being purchased by the current entry. And we don't want to make them spend money to pull the boat back to original spec. We respect those situations, and any performance advantages are usually catered for when they get measured or when they've done their IRC certificate. So, but someone couldn't buy a boat and then put a carbon fibre mast and a carbon fibre boom and things like that. But if they buy the boat and it already had that carbon fibre mast and boom, we let them keep it. So that's how it works. I do it an approximate month for the return to the UK. I'm hoping to come down and see some of the boats with my son. Yes, I think that they'll be. I think they'll be there somewhere between the 10th and the 26th. The fleet, we expect to see the first boats about the 10th, and it could roll through until about the 26th. So, but might be a small window. We'll be making an announcement next week on the final finishing arrangements. So keep an eye out for that, Kylie. And hopefully when there I can pick up some merchandise. Yeah, we'll have a bunch of stuff there. So including hats, and shirts, bits and pieces. Who are the last three sailors for GGR in 2026? Well, you'll have to wait and see. We're talking GGR Golden Globe race now. We're just about full. We have 26 entries, and then there's a wait list, and I forget the exact numbers now, but we've had 2 or 3 new entrants in the last couple of weeks. So sign on, and they'll go. But a couple of them, I think we're going to end up with 4 confidential entries until later this year, because one has. Well, in fact, there's another one. Yeah, one's a previous entrant that didn't make it in 2018, and he's got a big plan. He's from a new country. We haven't had an entry from there before, and he's got some reason to stay confidential. And there's another one that hasn't mentioned it to his employer yet, so he wants to be confidential for 5-6 months, and so on. But anyway, yeah, GGR 26 is looking pretty solid. G'day, Ross. Watching with keen interest. Yeah, it's a bit of fun now. There's some good stories, so that's all good. Dad read the rules on the website. I'm not sure what that one was. Hi, Kylie. They're in Stanley. Yeah, saw that. Thanks. New time. Yeah, this was random. If you missed the start, I was all set to go at 9 o'clock. But all of a sudden, I had to reset everything. In this program, there's lots of things. You've got to go to YouTube, got to go to Facebook, got to do the titles, you've got to register and things. And I leave it set, so it just come up every day. I just renew the base data and do it. But every now and then, you've got to reboot the whole system. And today, I had to reboot it. Today's the only day that I let all the girls bugger off. So they're all out touring around in a high car, and I'm here by myself. So I gave up and thought I'd do it at 5 o'clock. But Jane rang and gave me all the passwords and more instructions, because I'm not tech savvy. I can program a video cassette player though, and I finally got it sorted. And then when I got it sorted, I thought, oh, bugger it, I'm just going to do it now. I'm not going to wait. So here we are. It was going to be 9 o'clock tonight, or 5 o'clock our time, which is 9 o'clock in France. But here we are, nearly there. And so you'll see the positions change in about 30 minutes, 40 minutes. So that's that one. The import Stanley. No, my parents went down to have a look at her. Oh, cool. Okay. So, yeah, I'm quite sure they'll be happy to be there. In fact, I saw a drawing they did on. I've never been to the Falklands. I've spent a lot of time in Antarctica, and I've done the Antarctic Peninsula as well. And I nearly got to Falklands once, didn't get there, but there's some great stuff there. And I'm imagining that whilst they'll all be very busy, I'm sure Marco and the team will get to have a quick look while they're there. Sounds like a great place. So, docked up at a place called Fippers, where all the biggest ships dock. Yeah, saw that. So that's a call. I'll just let that ring because I'm nearly finished. Okay, Rob Leslie Large, morning, 24 hour mighty swim in Adelaide. Good on you, Rob. Kaylee Marie definitely is not messing around. Yep. Flying over Nova Scotia, and loving all the fantastic images. Yeah, me too. Okay, that's it. I'm going to get off here and answer this phone. It's not an emergency one.